So we will speak today about money, about investment, about prosperity. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, Mrs. Ambassador, about great words. I thought it was very inspiring, and I'm sure we will touch some key moments from the speech here. But if we speak about money, I think women are very shy about actually speaking about money. It's not a topic which would be very often in our vocab, in our discussions that we mean together, either chatting or really have a serious discussions. And I will try to put a light on these four ladies to share with us their stories, their experiences, their learning through their life about the investment into yourself. And I'm really fan of the Chinese philosophy. And the Chinese philosophy, they always speak about to be able to have healthy and balanced life, you need four things. You need to have a healthy food, you need to relax in the right way, you need to have the physical exercise, and you need to have a right mindset. And actually, those are exactly the topic which those ladies are not only covering, but practicing in their life, and I will speak a little more about this. So, Nicole, let's start with you. I was really impressed by your story. So, you are German. You came in 2014 here to Czech Republic.
Yes. Is it working? Good morning. Mluvím trochu česky. Dobré ráno. But now I will switch into English if you agree. So, I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. So you made a big decision in your life career. You really invested your time, your effort to make your career grow, and you accepted the work opportunity to move from Germany to Czech Republic.
Yeah, let me tell you something small about my life and a hobby I have. I am doing my own jewelry out of old bottle caps, means these rings. So I'm taking something out of the context and put it into a new environment. And therefore I unleash a potential. Would you ever think that such a bottle cap is going to be jewelry? And exactly this is what I did. I felt that I stuck with my career and also with my personal development. So I thought it's time to bring me in a new environment, in a new situation, to unleash my full potential to what I can manage and what I can do. Yeah.
But I can imagine it wasn't easy at all to decide to move, to take your husband, to take your children, to bring them to a different country without language which you would know, a slightly different culture. So how it was and how you look at it today?
Looking back is always easy. You know, you find a kind of a red thread and everything will be fine. In the situation you don't know. Yes, I took a risk, but the risk was mitigatable, you know, because I stayed within the same company and I had my family with me. On the one hand, this was complicating the things and having more risk. By the other hand, it gave a lot of encouragement, freedom to have them around me. And I took the initiative. I didn't wait somebody asking me to do so. So I actively looked for what could be the next step and how can I do that. And investment was that my husband skipped a job, so he was supporting me in the decision, and yeah, it was one of the best decisions I have done in my working life.
Thank you very much for sharing this story. So if we move to you, Cristina, you are from Romania. You also came to Czech Republic. You live here. And you were a young journalist working for the international media. So you didn't speak Czech at all. But at the same time, in a very short time after you started to do your job, there was a big change. And the media house was closed. And you actually were in the difficult situation to decide, so what next? So how did you actually manage to launch your own entrepreneur's business here in Czech Republic and to become successful?
Well, it was actually quite a surprise. This change came into my life unexpectedly. I always knew I wanted to be a journalist. So when I went to the Faculty of Bucharest, to the University of Bucharest to study journalism, I thought that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So then I moved to Prague. I started to work for Czech Business Weekly and working as a financial journalist. And in 2010, because of the economic crisis, Czech Business Weekly was closed. For all of our team, it was quite a shock, not because it was closed, but the way how it was closed, because the decision was taken on Monday evening. On Tuesday morning, we were informed, and a week later, we were gone. The paper was closed. And we got a 1 month severance payment for a team of journalists who wouldn't speak Czech, and that's it. So this was a moment when I just had to actually sit down and I had to make a decision. If I would like to continue working as a journalist, I had to leave the Czech Republic. But I was having my life here, so I decided to stay. And then I realized I never want to be again in a position of such vulnerability as I was when the magazine was closed. So how can I do that where I need to take charge of my life? I need to become an entrepreneur. And so what I decided to do, when I was a journalist, I realized that 70% of the managers I was meeting were quite challenged by the interviews that I was taking, by the confrontation with the journalist. And what I realized that I could offer them was media training, was actually what I knew, what I loved, what I did best, and I could flip-flop it and actually offer it to the market. Now, we're talking about 2010. It was deep economic crisis. I wouldn't speak, I didn't speak Czech at all. Oh, well, I didn't speak Czech to the level where I could, sell communication services. But I said, well, I'm going to give it a try, and I did.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah. It was quite a journey, and I must say that I still remember a moment. It's connected to the personal branding, and I feel it's very important to say this, that whenever you work, you are leaving a footprint in the life of people around you, and this is very important to remember when you think about your personal brand, because your personal brand is the footprint, the emotional footprint that you leave in the life of people with whom you are surrounded. And when I actually started my business, the only thing I could rely on was the attributes that were attached to my name that I had as a journalist. And that was Cristina's responsible, she gets things done, and she can be trusted. So in spring 2011, I remember a good friend who was the spokesman of a bank. He came and said, well, I got a deal for you. And I was like, oh, sure, tell me more. And he said, I have 13 managers whom I'd like you to, train. It's a very complex academy. It's for very good money, but it has a challenge. What's that? Well, 11 of them need it done in Czech. All right. You sure you want to tell me more? Well, yeah, actually. Would you like to try it? And I said, well, give me 30 minutes with each of them. And if they all agree, then we can go for it. And that's what I did. And I must say that that moment in my business just turned the business around, because it gave me the courage that I can do my work in Czech. Currently, I'm doing 90% of my work in Czech. But it also gave the reputation that I needed to actually continue my business. So that was a very important moment in my business.
Thank you very much, Cristina. So, when we speak about, because this is investment, this is your investment into yourself, the important word I would like to stress from what you said is courage. An important word I want to stress from what you, Nicole, shared with us is proactive approach. Do not wait for the moment that something will come. So be proactive, know what you want, and go ahead, look for that. So let's move a little to Kateřina. So Kateřina is an amazing Renaissance person, if I can introduce her. She is not only the director in Moser and the marketer, but actually she is really gallerist. She has very close to the art, to the culture, but at the same time, she studied the physical education, and she actually in her life find a way close to yoga, and she has been with yoga for many years, even as a professional teacher of the yoga. So Kateřina, could you share a little with us this journey? How did you come with all what you do to yoga, and why, and what it makes, and how actually to ensure that we are able to invest and to be disciplined in making something for us in a physical movement side?
Good morning. Physical education, fitness, yoga, balance between body and mind, that's my theme. That's what I'm looking in life for harmony between the physical and the mental. And how did I come to yoga? I started as a sports person, very active, running, long distance runner, cross-country skier. Yoga was boring, slow, uninterested. But then I was 38, expecting my third child, and I started to experience aches in my joints, hips, maybe lower back. And I was looking for something that I can use during pregnancy. And a friend of mine gave me a book with some yoga exercises, so I decided to give it a try. I gave it a try, and miraculously, after first try, it did help. It did relieve some tension and some stiffness. So I was continuing throughout the pregnancy. After giving birth, it was the first thing I was able to start again as a physical exercise, because yoga is appropriate for any physical situation. In fact, you can always find some exercise that you can do. And slowly but surely, from the physical part of yoga, from the asanas, from the stretching and strengthening the muscles, I discovered the breathing, the conscious movement, the way to concentrate, how to relax, and how to connect the physical activity with the mental part. And I like one thing that yoga philosophy is speaking about, and it is the fact that there is a discrepancy between body and mind. Our mind is constantly jumping like a monkey from branch to branch, and it's never quiet, and we cannot stop it. It's just natural property of the mind. And we are thinking about the past, what happened and what was in the past. Or we are planning for the future. So we are mentally in the past or in the future, but our body can exist only at the present moment. So there is our mind jumping somewhere as a monkey, and our body present now. And yoga is a way how to connect this discrepancy. How to find yourself with your body and mind at this very moment, at this present time. And during yoga practice, to be able to connect your body and mind in a present moment is very healing, energizing, relaxing, and it's the reason why I am still with yoga.
Thank you very much, Kateřina. Great. I think it was I think I will remember this, you know, that moment how you explain that, yeah, body is in a presence, but our mind is very often running around, either in the past, in the future. And actually, to be in balance, you need to have both in present. That is incredible and very simple explanation. So thank you very much. But you spoke about mind, and I think it's a very nice link to actually how to introduce Loredana, our other panelist. So, Lori, I met you probably 5 years ago, 6 or even 6, and I remember you were very successful businesswoman. You had the successful agency, the digital marketing agency. You were entrepreneur in Romania, where you are coming from. And I remember asking you to, so could you please help me and my team to be more competent in the social media and digital communication? And you actually did a great job. But I remember even that time, you were in the stage to think about, I would like to do something else. And I remember you spent a lot of time reading books and studying and invested a lot of money to move your life career to very different area where you are today, because you are today the transformational coach. You are actually the lady who runs a big international conference here in Czech Republic, which is called Understanding Human Mind, and another year will come very soon, now in May. So could you tell us a little about this investment related to the big shift in your career? So what made you to change and how it was?
Dobrý den. Thank you for having me here. Well, I'm still surprised when people think that my story is remarkable, because the way I look at it, I did a lot of work. I didn't have the time to think if it's good, if it's bad, if it's remarkable, if it's going to get somewhere. But it wasn't courage. Yes, I had my digital agency, but I loved people more, and I got to do what I do by pure chance. It wasn't planned. I didn't have a master plan. I didn't know that I'm going to go for that. But it so happened that 5 years ago I went to London for some interesting talk and workshop about mind, human mind. And I heard something there that was similar to you have no control in life. Now, let me put you in context. I was trying to control everything. I went to digital and I learned mathematical models and NLP and whatever you can think to control my environment, to control my feelings, to control my boyfriend, I'm not trying that anymore. And it didn't seem to work, really. And when I heard that, and I said, oh goodness. So I spent all this year trying to do the undoable. But that was a lot of freedom coming with that. Because the moment I didn't have to control anything, I could do anything. And that was cool. Because we are speaking about money, right? When I closed that digital agency, I lost all my money. And that was that. And I was in a new country, in a foreign country, which language I didn't speak. And I said, I just want to help people. I just want to tell people, whatever the little I heard, I want to tell people that they make their lives inside out. And I want to tell people that there is mental health in everyone. So I did. I closed that agency and I started to study. And then, a few years later, it dawned on me that I should also learn, not only study. So I did double the trouble and annoyed all my friends and coached all my friends in the meantime. And every time they asked, what are you doing? Oh, I'm studying, I'm watching videos, I'm doing that. So it was a lot of time and a lot of energy, but it was the best thing I could do. And I think it might have been the best idea I had so far in my life, and I might change my mind. But for the moment, this is me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lodi. So ladies, thank you for the introduction and sharing openly your stories, which I believe are a great inspiration. So let's come to the investment as a topic. So if you think about your life, what do you consider as the best investment you did in your life? Who wants to start?
I can start. Yeah. Coming from the property and expansion, I know a lot about buildings. So for me, investment is always something what you constantly do, and the payoff you will get later. So you invest today, and then finally, by day and day, you get it paid off. So it's a constant, let's say, preparation. It's a constant keeping up in order to get better and better and have a result, maybe not today, but in few years. So thanks a lot for invitation of this panel, but because I have to say, this was always what I was thinking of investments, but I never thought about what do I really invest into myself, so what I'm doing. And actually I reflected a lot, and thank you for helping me, and said, oh, maybe the sports exercises I've consciously decided to do every week is an investment into my future, to stay healthy, to stay balanced with my mental skills, to really relieve the stress from work. And also, I have recognized, what do I do only for myself? And this is sometimes a bit the challenging part, you know, you have a tough job to do, you are on work pace, you are pacing through life, and while having a family. So you always sacrifice something, and taking the time and investing into me only for me seems to be weird somehow. Because I was always feeling like I'm cutting it out from my husband's time with me, I'm cutting it out for my children's time with me. But actually, when I swapped and said, it's not cutting out, it's investment into future because it gives something to me, means it gives something for my husband, for my children, so a better me, a more balanced me. Everybody is gaining from that, and this is really how I shifted since we talked. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you. So other ladies, what is your experience, how you see this? Kateřina?
I have to say I was in the same situation like Nicole. This invitation to the panel made me think. And I realized some things that I wasn't aware of. And it's very similar. I'm a very intuitive person. And I always felt that I need to invest in my time in developing my hobbies. And in this way, finding a way to myself, understanding myself. And I realized when I understand myself, I am happier, I am more confident, and of course then I am a better person, and I do better job, and I create better environment. So investing into myself and in trying to discover myself is the most important investment for me.
I think it's really not easy because we as women are actually growing to take care of everybody. We are always on the last place, not on the first place. So therefore what I hear here, and very often also from my mentees, is I feel guilty if I would like to invest in myself, because I am mom, I am daughter, I am wife, I am manager, I am partner, I have many roles, and actually we as women very often try to put everybody on the first place and we actually keep ourselves at the end. But we also need to actually re-energize to be able to be actually good in our roles. So how to do it? Cristina, Loredana, how actually human mind can help us, how this can be done? What you would advise to women in the room?
I'd love to pick up that idea of guilt, because guilt is an emotion, and I definitely feel that we don't know how to work with our emotions in a creative way and in a proactive way for our own lives. When I started media training, and you have a CEO of a large company in front of the camera and you do a simulation and he starts crying, you just don't know what to do. And it was that moment when I realized that I really need to go back to school and to learn psychology and to learn to work with people's emotions. And I feel that this journey into the human psyche is what helps us to actually bring the best of ourselves to work. So if I am to stop at the idea of the best investment that I've done in myself along the journey, it was always into my education. And I feel that we have two resources that we can always invest, and one is time and the second is money. The difference is that money we can always replenish, we can recharge, but time is something that no one will ever give us back. So this is something that we need to be very conscious when we decide to invest it, is either a friendship or relationship or business or something. This is the only thing that no one will ever give us back. So we better be mindful about how we spend it.
Yeah. Thank you. Loredana, how our human mind can help or not help us to actually do this?
What I figured out is that getting calm and figuring out what you want is making the difference. And I am what I give my clients. My knowledge about psychology, my understanding, my level of awareness, that's what I give them. And if I don't invest in that, then I don't have much to give them. So the better I am, the better I can serve them. And since that's my job, that's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So it's not even a choice investment. It's something that if you want to give the best to your clients, then you have to do it.
Yeah. And if you want to give the best to yourself, you also have to do it.
Then you don't put together IKEA furniture until 10 o'clock in the evening and get to a manicure, which I didn't. I put my IKEA furniture together.
That's great. So, I'm sorry. So, let's move to money, because this is, as we said, this feels a little like, okay, so how we speak about the money. So, what is your relation to money, and what do you use money for?
Really challenging, I have to say again. Inspiring, challenging, thanks a lot. For me, money is a kind of an enabler. It enables me to have a certain life quality, of course, and to do things I want to do and make it happen. So I have never seen it as some... and then, of course, the first thing was, okay, this is what I earn. Yeah, this kind of, oh yeah, money, something. But actually it's really something that enables me to, again, coming back to unleashing and looking into what is possible. Of course, if I really would like to discover the world, it's good to have a bit more money in order to travel. Of course, if I'm investing into myself, I want to have a payback. So if I'm investing to buy books in education, there has to be a payback, and I want to see it at the end of the day on my payslip also. But it's not everything for me, I have to say, because what you said, money can be recharged somehow, of course, makes life comfortable, nice, inspiring, but time. So if I would have a lot of money but no time to spend, to enjoy, to be who I am, then it's worthless. And I try to find the right balance between, but seeing this as, from the investment point of view, yes, I would like to have a payback.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
In my case, the relationship with money definitely changed when I became an entrepreneur, because when I was working as a journalist, I was, spending what I earned, and that was it, and, not thinking that much about it. But as an entrepreneur, you have these cash flow issues, and you really need to deal with them, and it's very confronting. So I realized the relationship I had with money was the relationship I was having with myself. And the respect I was showing my money was the respect that I was showing myself and the sustainability of my own life. And when I was confronted with this, when I looked, what I earn in half a day is, for example, what my mom makes in 1 month, and I could do so many more better things with money if I were more mindful about it. It totally transformed my relationship with money, and it developed a sense of enough. Mm-hmm. I had to sit down and actually define what is enough for me, and from this point of this inner point of enough, I can now operate, and I decide what to buy, what to share, what to spend, what for, what kind of feeling I want to get from it, and so on. So it's a very complex relationship. It's a love affair.
Yeah. So respect to money and respect to yourself, actually. Thank you very much, Kateřina.
In my family, we had a saying, or we still have it, which is in Czech, and it says, peníze budou a my nebudem. It's about money will always be here, but we won't be. And I think it has been with me all my life, because I still have this feeling that I would like to overcome, that money is a bit a dirty word, and I shouldn't really speak too much about it. But on the other hand, I have to say I never had an issue with a lack of money, because since this having in mind the money will be here and we won't be, I always try to solve some money issues or money shortage with looking into priorities and defining what is the most important thing for me at the moment. And always I find a way how to finance this important thing. So I guess I'm really lucky with money.
Thank you.
I think you can always make money, and money are honestly completely unremarkable. We associate a lot of feelings with money. We think that they bring love, we think that they bring happiness, we think that they bring insecurity or fear or anger. But honestly, they are unremarkable. They are just a number, and they have no power to give us any feeling. The only feeling that we create is in our head. It's in our mind related to them. And some days we have a good relationship in our head, and some days we don't have a good relationship. But it's transient. Money we can make. And what do I do with them? Was that also your question?
Yeah.
Plenty of things. I like nice things in life, but I also want to be useful. So I also love this planet. So they have a lot of places to go, from 2 NGOs to a farm to whatever.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So it's about that not caring about yourself, but also the community and the planet where we live, because money are powerful tool which we can actually use and leverage. Yeah. So if you would have really like the source of money which never ends, would you do something differently in your life? Would you change your life, career? So is it something what you feel like, yeah, this would enable me to do something different or else?
Okay,
Kateřina?
let's change the order.
I think I would probably not change anything, because no, I would probably not change anything. Just thinking, I believe that people who have wealth bigger than they can spend are having also responsibility. And that the reason why the wealth ended in their hands is that the world spirit believes that they should distribute it further. So I believe in a responsibility of wealthy people towards the society and supporting projects that are bigger than themselves. And this is something that I'm trying, since I also have more money than I can spend for myself. So I'm trying to support cultural activities or handicapped sport people, because sport, that is my theme, and elderly people. So I believe people who have wealth are responsible for sharing it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
When I looked into what I've answered to that question, it was also what you said right now. I would most probably donate it, but not just give it away. Coming back to investment, I would really look into these micro investments that people are enable them to develop themselves, because it has to come from you. Donation is nice, but with a meaning, to help to invest into a future. This I would do, and then I have to step back. Okay, endless source of money. What is hindering me today to already start with that? And I really had to say, yeah, there is something in here where I have to say, if I have an endless source of money, of course I can do even more, but I can start already today and taking this in consideration and doing more. Small steps, small drops will lead to an ocean. And this is my takeout from the panel, I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, money is an amazing leverage tool. So when you have it as leverage, you can do so many amazing things. And I can only think of the opportunities that can be created. What I find, I think a lot about Romania, where I come from. Lately, I've been traveling there more often. I live in the Czech Republic for 14 years, but I feel the calling of my homeland, and if I had more money, what I would do is that I would spend more time in Romania doing volunteer training. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, to an endless source of money, please bring it on. And there is so much good in the world that you can do. And mental health is a subject that can be exploited more, and where we can say more things, but it's also care about the planet. And if I start to tell you all the wrongs that have to be helped, then we spent a day here. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So what I hear, ladies, from you is really like, you are really sure that investment in yourself is important. This is what made you actually be successful and happy. But at the same time, what I hear here, as Kateřina said, if you are wealthy, it's your responsibility to share it, you know. And it doesn't go only to the businesses in CSR, it's also the individual task and responsibility, which is great, because then we can actually make more people wealthier, and I believe this is how we feel happy and satisfied together. Let's come back to us. I think, you know, that it's not an easy topic, money, but there is a one investment which is very important, and we speak a lot about it, and not always we actually address it, and it's the personal brand. And really, let's use the expert on the area, to Cristina, who is now preparing book in Czech even about this topic, to speak a little more about it. So what does it mean, Cristina, personal brand, and how to actually, you can develop it, grow it, and how it helps our lives?
Well, thank you very much for not asking me how many pages I have written already. That's delightful. That's good. Personal branding is so much more than we think when we, you know, come in touch with this concept, because we think that if we fix our CV and put a bit of new information on LinkedIn, that we've done something for our personal brand, and it's just so far away from the truth. So there are 3 myths about personal branding. One, it can be done fast. Forget about it. It's a lifelong exercise. Your personal brand is, again, the footprint that you leave in the life of the people whom you meet, and the kind of values that they attach your name to. So it's just so much more complex. The second thing is that it can be connected to image, and our image is our personal brand. Not at all. Our image can support and nurture our personal brand, but it is not defining it by far. What I would like maybe to leave today is a message of hope. The changes on the world of work are so fast, and now I'm exploring for my book, and I'm confronted with so many figures and trends, and the way we experience our careers in companies is going to be, 10 years from now, it's going to be completely different. Half of the jobs that we have today are not going to exist. Automatization, robotization, artificial intelligence are changing the way we live and do business. And they're going to change the people who will remain and have a job 10, 15, 20 years from now. And how will you differentiate yourself to actually choose the path which is in line with your soul, with your mission, with your values? This is the question. This is the challenge that is in front of each and single one of us. So what I would like to leave here is a message of hope, and that is when life gives you a facka, you know, like it happened in my case with Czech Business Weekly, you really can stand up on your feet and actually become, from a victim who lost a job, you can turn yourself into a creator. And we're all called to create, to actually define who we are on the labor market through communications, which is consistent, is in line with who we are. And this is what I feel the personal branding is all about.
Thank you. So we do have many decisions in our life related to like where we go, how we grow, where we invest. It's almost actually daily exercise. But I believe in our life we come to the moments when we need to sacrifice something to be able to grow, to move. Sometimes it relates to relationships. My life story is about actually ending the relationships which were not good for me and for my partner because we are so different, to give us freedom, to enable us growth, and to be actually on our journey because the common journey wasn't good enough. And that's for me the key learning in the moment I, for example, did it personally. My life and his life changed dramatically in a very positive way. It was very painful, it was a very difficult decision, but enabled us actually to freedom our life to be better. So ladies, did you have any situation to remember when you had to sacrifice something to be able to grow your career, to have better life? Loredana?
Money.
Money.
Yeah. And time. But that's not a big sacrifice, really. It's just the payment that you have to give for things to move on. So not really, I don't feel like I sacrificed anything.
Thank you. Kateřina.
I did sacrifice, or at least at one point of my life, I had a feeling that, not that I sacrificed something for my career, but I had a feeling that I sacrificed my career. Because I had 3 children, husband in a position that meant that he was away all the time, and when he wasn't away, he wasn't present mentally. So I did feel like I did sacrifice my career. But every situation has its pros and cons, and there is a saying that says that every difficulty is a challenge, is a new way. And so, of course, also for me, this situation brought new opportunities and made me start my own business and learn new profession and go a different way. And I love where I am now, and I wouldn't be there without this sacrifice.
Thank you.
Sacrifice, I think, is a strong word. I have never perceived it like that. Maybe sometimes I have the feeling I was missing something. I'm now missing to go out with my girlfriends for a beer in the evening, to be honest. Because I see all the chats and the WhatsApp. Today, evening we go here and there, and I'm sitting in nice Prague, beautiful city, and I'm watching what they do. But it's more kind of like, I'm a bit sad, but not sacrificing that. Because what I can give to them if I'm coming back and what kind of, how I enjoy to meet them again. I really, I value this friendship much more than I did before. And for me, this is something where I see always the backside of the coin. So sacrifice, quite heavy, strong word, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I was born in a small village in Transylvania, and all my family is there. So when I left when I was 14 to go to high school and then to university and so, and I feel that the biggest sacrifice was leaving them behind. And so, because till today, you know, we love each other fiercely, and I enjoy every single moment that I spend with my family. And the second thing I had to separate with was this illusion of more. That when we have more, then we're going to be happier. And it's not at all like that. Again, I'm going back to this enough. It is a skill that we need to develop. What is enough for us? Because grounding ourselves in that point of enough is really allowing us to be grateful for what we have and to enjoy and to be more and to give more. So the illusion of more was actually the sacrifice that I needed to make to move forward.
Yeah, thank you. So unfortunately, we are coming a little closer to the end of the panel, so I will ask you one last question before actually we give some space for 1-2 questions from the plenary if there is some. So we speak a lot, and it's very clear from what you said is that investment in myself, yourself, means really good thing. It helps us to be happy, it helps us to be successful, and it is worth to invest. But what I would like to ask you at the end, what success means to you?
Based on my profession, I'm a very goal-oriented person. I'm an achiever. There's a task to be done, there has to be built an IKEA store, wherever. So let's go and come into that direction. And this I did also within my life. So success was always a kind of reaching a predefined goal. This has changed. Success is really doing it in the way I want to do it and see how I grow on the way. Still, of course, I want to reach goals, but I'm not so much trying to define it up front. It will come. I'm much more relaxed when it comes to success.
Yep. Thank you.
Success for me, I live in a flat which is the ground floor, which is a beautiful garden, and success for me is sitting in my balcony with my cats and my dog and actually reading a book with the feeling that everything is the way it is, and that I have made a difference in the life of some people. And that's it. It's enough.
Thank you.
Back to yoga. Success for me is a balance. Balance and harmony, not within me, but also within the environment in which I'm part of, and that is the most for me.
Thank you.
We are alive, right? I think that's the best and most successful thing that we've done, each of us today. And apart from that, every time my clients get out of the room in fits of laughter. Because they are just enjoying their lives. And that is really cool. And you can't get me any statue that will beat that. And if you don't mind, what is success for you, Drahomíra?
Thank you for asking me. So I think for me, success means that I really do what I'm passionate about, what I really love doing. And actually, it also enables me to be wealthy. But at the same time, even being successful as a career woman, I am happy that I still can do what I really want. Like, I can travel to my home country, and I plan to spend 2 weeks with my mom because she's after the surgery. And that I have that freedom, and I allow myself to do what is really important, not only be a successful business role model, but also actually being with my closest one, with people who I love, that I take as a success, that I have a great family, I have a great partner, and actually I just take as a success that I have life I can enjoy, and especially I allow myself to enjoy my life and to be happy and satisfied. That's for me my success. So, ladies, thank you very much. It was so many inspiration, I believe, for everybody in the room. So please, if you have any questions in the floor, we have some short time to answer questions from you. I see the hand there. If we can provide microphone to the lady.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this amazing speech and giving us all this inspiration. I have a question. I want to say that as a woman, I felt to face many changes in life. So it's not because you become a mother, but sometimes, for example, myself, I've been changing countries, I'm coming to a new place. I'm missing the breath, sorry. I wanted to ask, we get to many changes, and sometimes it's very difficult to understand where we have to go. So what would you suggest is the right question in order to find the right answer? It's so difficult sometimes, so thank you for that.
Thank you for a great question. So what is the right question to ask you to get the right answer when you make big decisions?
Who are you?
What do you want?
It's the question.
What do you want to create?
Exactly.
What do you want to create in your life? What do you want to go for? What do you do being happy doing that? Not because it makes you happy, but because you really love doing that.
You waiting for answer, or it's just?
Yeah, I think I agree. When I was in these situations, and finally there was the offer to go abroad, it was really like, what do I want? What do I want? And the rest will fall together. You know, it will link and it will happen. In this situation, of course, it's not so easy to find what you want. But that was, at the end, the crucial question.
Yeah. Sure. I can share with you my experience, actually, making a big decision in my life and how I did it, because it was a very painful process. And I was deciding if to move Slovakia or not to actually develop my career. And at the beginning, I was really passionate because I got offered very amazing job here in Czech Republic, and I felt like that's fantastic. And all my family was like, this is a great moment, and we will go with you, Drahus, and my parents, my husband. And when the moment came and I was ready to move, everybody was like, oh, we will not go with you, you know. We are here at home, we don't want to move, it will be difficult for us. And everybody was like, okay, Drahus, you are not a good daughter, you are not a good wife, you are not a good friend, because you are leaving us all. Even in the business, they were telling me like, oh, we can't survive here without you. So I came under the huge pressure to decide to stay or go. It felt like, you know, to be or not to be, you know. Now I'm smiling on these days, but that time it was really serious. So I called my friend, and I think she's sitting in this room here, and I was like, I don't know how to decide. I feel with all my heart that this is exactly my career path. This is the job I would like to do. This is actually where my passion is, but there is so many questions around me if I should go or not. And she just told me, you know what? You have to be very pragmatic. Go to the flip chart, put the most important criteria for you, including like the family, you know, free time, friends, not only work. And then just actually try to count what goes for it to stay and what goes for it to go and leave. And actually that leave part had one more point, so I decided to go. And it was the best decision I made in my life. So really, ask yourself who you are, where is your passion, what is your purpose, and what is important for you. Because if you are happy, then everybody around you will be happy. If you stay and you're stuck in some situation, then you don't make people around you happy and you are not happy. So let me finish with this. Thank you very much for the great panelists. Thank you for listening to us. Have a lovely conference.